and got quite violent with a player who wouldn't walk, which is, you know, these things happen. Then he fell out with a member of the
Yorkshire Committee.
The Yorkshire Committee.
Over whether he'd take more wickets than Headley Vanity.
That's right. But today we find a very, very personal reminiscence from
Fred to Claire Rayner, really.
It is very, very personal. And I mean, he committed it to tape in 1968, so obviously, you know, he was comfortable with it, so that's why we're playing it for you. But this is Fred. Very, very personal reminiscence from the great Yorkshire and England fast bowler.
I'm always ready to coach anybody from international to schoolboy cricketers, because I feel an obligation to do so. In spite of all my troubles, I know I owe the game of cricket a great deal.
Oh, this is the
and I'm
mantra,
willing to put something back.
That is the mark of the man, and we should point out every evening, it's an old tape. He doesn't go... He has a turn. The tape's a bit wobbly, but here he is. Very personal, emotional reminiscence from Fred Trueman.
If things were going better for me on the cricket field at the end of the 50s, they certainly weren't at home. In fact, my marriage was beginning to break up.
Blimey, oh dear.
On reflection, I suppose it was inevitable.
Yeah.
I met Enid in 1951 at a cocktail party given by her father, who was the mayor of the Scarborough at the time.
Oh.
We married in 1955 and set up a house in West Ayton, outside Scarborough.
Nice.
The first 5 years or so passed by happily enough. I worked hard at trying to make the marriage a good one. I believed in family life, and had been raised to regard marriage as a contract for life.
Absolutely.
There was nothing I could do about it, being away from home when we travelled to play other counties. And the 6-month tours abroad placed a tremendous strain on our relationship. Cricketers are human. When you're used to a healthy marital relationship, it's more than flesh and blood can stand to go without sex for 6 whole months. Ian had never accused me of sleeping with other women on the tours, but she was an intelligent woman and must have known that I had had the odd bird.
I was feeling so sorry for Fred until that point. But the revelation that he'd had the odd bird, I think Enid, you know, comes a point, I suppose, that Enid thought. And, well, anyway,
I've had enough of this.
Because there was that situation. He booked in once as a Mr. and Mrs. Smith, and the guy on the desk,
the concierge,
when he booked, gave him a right funny look as he kind of sneered him. He didn't like his attitude.
What did he do?
I'm not altogether sure what he did. Maybe he tells us on the tape.
This man was being so blasé into the bargain that I was really furious. And I'm afraid I hit him in the mouth and he had to be carried off.
There we are.
Which seems to happen to Fred a lot.
That's the third day running. The third day running. Fred's done exactly the same thing. Big violent man. But tremendous cricketer.
Oh, yes.
A legend of
over
English
300
sport.
wickets.
And we look forward to bringing you more Fred Trueman remembers over the coming days, months.
I think you'll top that one.
Fingers crossed. Hopefully years, the revelation. They'll look back on the odd bird memory.
There were plenty of things which upset her, but that wasn't one. She understandably got mad at not being able to live a reasonable life with me, even when I was home. The phone would never stop ringing, and people were forever dropping round to see me.
Oh, yeah.
Me, not her. Often she
woman.
wouldn't be included on the invitation to parties and functions.
That's
And
harsh.
at one stage, I refused to go anywhere unless she was officially included.
Fair play.
That's right.
Inevitably, the row started. There are always people around when we needed to be on our own.
Pavilion End.
A classic example happened when I returned home once from Birmingham, having broken another record whilst bowling out the West Indies.
Well done, Fred.
Enid came to meet me, full of affection and happiness for me, and expecting just the two of us to be there.
That's nice.
When she arrived, she could scarcely get to me for the press and crowds of well-wishers. She lost her temper in front of everybody, shouting, "One day, you'll come home without your bloody friends all hanging on your back," and left. I was upset and disappointed at the time, but I can understand now just how fed up she must have felt. Would have taken an angel to enjoy being my wife at that time.
Well, Fred's nothing but honest.
It's true.
But there was that situation. I've heard about this story. There was a big press scrum, and there was one bloke especially was very pushy. I think it was a young Joe Melling, pushing his way to the front. Freddie pushing his way to the front.
You're right, yeah.
And Fred, I mean, I'm not sure how he reacted. Oh, hang on. I think
This man was being so blasé into the bargain that I was really furious. And I'm afraid I hit him in the mouth and he had to be carried off.
Well, there we are. So anyway,
Fred's way of solving everything, isn't it?
ultimately, that sounds familiar, that last bit. Has he said that before?
It works.
It seems to have the same way of resolving the situation. But more from Fred tomorrow. And thanks very much, Steve.